All right, the Reds, it's the preview show for Liverpool v Tottenham Hotspur. It's on Sunday, it's at 4:30, it's a big match. Liverpool are going for the title. Spurs have fucked it, they're out of it. They're 500 to 1 to win the league now. Liverpool are 2 to 1 to win the league. That's because we've still got a big chance of doing just that. I've got Ben Johnson and Kev Walsh with me to have a chat about this game. Boys, we've got a good record against Spurs. I was quite surprised. I kind of like they're in my head a bit more than maybe they should be, because when I started doing the research for the show, I find out that Liverpool have lost only one of the last 24 home games against Spurs in the Premier League, and that was in 2011. So it's box, Kev.
Piece of piss then. And that's a nail on a tactics board then. Nah, well, I think we've got obviously the draw last year where they fucking, or the year before, was it, where they got the two shitty pens, didn't they? Yeah. So that might be wider in your head, but yeah, our record against them was quite good. I was surprised when I had a look at that as well myself, but still doesn't stop me shitting myself. The
last defeat as well is, we mentioned it on Talk and Reds, Ben, just to remind you again, the 4-1 at Wembley. But this is our Anfield, and that's the other thing, we're brilliant at Anfield, and we have been for some time now. It's 36 unbeaten at Anfield in the Premier League now. And if we get this game, draw or win this game, we'll equal the record of City. I think it's in, let me look, 2010 to 2012, they went 37. And then the only team better than that was Chelsea when they went that mad 86 unbeaten at Stamford Bridge, and then we beat them.
That was good, wasn't it?
That was good, wasn't it? So, but I mean, these kind of things, you know, good sides, it's built on your home record, isn't it? And Liverpool have been great at home, and there's no reason to, you know, suspect that they're not going to be on Sunday, because, you know, the Fulham game was obviously not great. It was a little bit dodgy. We got there in the end, but it kind of feels that Liverpool, especially for a game of this magnitude at home, we all know what we're doing. We've all been here before. Whereas Spurs dropping off a cliff form-wise, maybe starting to look towards the Champions League more than the league now. So,
there's no doubt about it. This is a harder game for them than it is for us. You know, going here, coming to Anfield, as you say, it's a hard place to get anything. This Liverpool team are relentless when they want to be. Pretty much looking at what's gone on over the international break, looks to have been all right for Liverpool. You know, the players who've played haven't had loads of minutes in the legs, and you just think, you see what's coming out of the club. You see what you know. The manager's comments the other day about we needed to build a base for the end of the season. He always talks about having a base to then crack on at the end of the season, and he said, look, we've got it. It's now or never. Now's the point. And it's almost like we've played this season in blocks to be at this point where you've got all these games you've got to win. And you look at the squad coming back together. You've got people fit who haven't been fit for a while. You've got, you know, more choice everywhere. And you just wonder whether, well, this is what we've built the whole season on, is these next block of 10, 12, 15 games, whatever it is, in Champions League included, hopefully. And I think the mindset is, let's just win them all. And, you know, that's a difficult thing to do. This isn't an easy game by any stretch, but Tottenham have got loads of questions to answer coming into this match. Liverpool, not so much, you know.
It's weird, isn't it, Kev, Tottenham, because obviously they were fantastic for a long time and they were right in the thick of it for the title. And then, as I said, they dropped off a cliff a little bit. And now you look at it and it's weird because of what they've done elsewhere in the season. Currently, Liverpool are the best side away from home in the Premier League in terms of taking points. They've won 35. Tottenham, though, are still second there. They've won 33. But then you dig down into the away form, and the last 8 away, they've lost 4 of the last 8 away. As I say, so they lost to Southampton, lost to Chelsea, lost to Burnley, lost to Palace in the FA Cup, and they lost to Chelsea in the second leg of the League Cup. So it's quite clear that something's gone wrong there. And I've seen Harry Kane talking as well today. There's some quotes out there saying that a lot of the people have been talking about this is one of the best Spurs sides ever. A bit like they're talking about Liverpool. Yeah. But then he says, but if we do nothing again, then how can it be, sort of thing. And so it's hard to know where they might be psychologically, isn't it, for this one?
I think for them, as John, you made the point there, our season feels like it's been played out in blocks of games in order to be ready for the meat of the season, which is now. It's, as you say, it's these next 12 games, hopefully if we get to the European Cup final and you win them all. Whereas Tottenham, their first failure stems from 9 months ago now, when he went through a full summer and didn't add anyone into the squad. And people were saying, oh, well, look how well you've started. And that's great, but listen, it's the old adage of it being a marathon and not a sprint. So I reckon you've got, in that Tottenham team, people coming back from injury, people probably getting rushed back. Do you know what I mean? Joe Gomez has been out for a 6-week injury for 3.5 months now, and we haven't rushed him back. You've got Oxlade-Chamberlain coming back in, and to be honest, I'd be very surprised to see him complete 90 minutes once before the end of the season. Whereas you get the feeling with Tottenham, their players, once they're back fit, bang, get straight back in there and do the business for us. Not for any other reason, and we haven't got the players to replace you with. So I think it's squad depth that's coming down to hurt them a little bit. And when they're looking around the changes, they must be thinking, we're only one injury away again from another drop-off. And the pressure they're under now, from being title contenders 6 weeks ago to being 3 or 4 points off not being in the top 4, it's got to play with the minds.
I think it's not just minds, but physically as well with Spurs, because I was reading something this morning as well that's saying just over the past month, there's been a huge drop-off with basically the distances that Spurs are running and the sprints as well, which obviously quite clearly says that, you know, that the players haven't got the legs as much as they did have earlier on in the season. And we know how their manager likes to play. Their manager's got lots and lots of admirers, not least we thought United, but thankfully they've gone with Solskjaer. All the best with that. But basically, if the players are a bit goosed and they can't follow the manager's instructions in terms of the intensity they put into the 90, like our players have been knocking around on beaches, it seems, and they haven't flown as far as Spurs as well. I've just seen that as well this morning. So we're about intensity, they're about intensity, but they've clearly dropped off. We've possibly going to have more intensity. Plus, we've got the light of the Premier League title lighting up everything. Again, you kind of feel like the bookies have got Liverpool as favourites for this, and I think it feels that way as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I think looking at them, you see, even without knowing that the stats are dropping off or whatever, but you look at the pattern of their results and you look at when they've lost games and it's away from home against teams who are grafting. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Who are working, and it's similar to what happens at Liverpool under Klopp a couple of years ago when we were flying first 6-7 months of the season, absolutely flying, and then we were knackered. Like we were cooked after Christmas. We were finished, and we managed to hobble along and get forward. And it's a similar situation. You know, it was a relatively safe bet that Tottenham's performances as a whole would drop off in the last bit of the season because they've literally going to have more minutes and more legs than the rivals, and that's it. And you know, if they could play, you know, if they had 20 weeks, 20 games, they'd be right up at the same level as Liverpool and Man City, but they haven't. They've got as many games as us. They've had these 2 big games in Europe, which means that they've had to pretty much play, you know, 12, 13, 14 players Saturday, Wednesday, Sunday, Tuesday for the last 6 weeks. It's a big ask. And you just, as with any Liverpool game, I look at it thinking if Liverpool are on it and Liverpool are firing and Liverpool are able to go full pelt, I don't think there's many teams that can stop us unless something mad happens. Yeah. And this feels similar. This feels like if Liverpool are at it and Liverpool perform, yeah, it's a game, it's a cost, you know, it's small margins in these big games between 2 quality sides, but if Liverpool are on it, then you'd fancy us for the win. You really would. With the crowd behind us, with, you know, as you say, the desire to win, the need to win for something other than just clinging on to 4th place. Don't care who you're at. If your mentality is, well, if we win, we might win the league, as opposed to if we win, we sort of stop this decline and we might hang on for 4th, when you've got this carrot of Champions League footy and also this carrot of, here's your boss, new grounds, can't you wait to play in that? If I was betting on that, I'd say Liverpool are going to win, hopefully.
What John was on about there as well, I think spot on in that, you know, when they kick the game off, you can imagine they're going to be up for it, and you know, they would have had the team talk and they would have talked themselves into it. But should Liverpool start well, it's a lot easier for their heads to drop. Whereas, you know, I know the alternative scenario, say they start well, they score, Liverpool aren't going to go, oh well, fuck it then. Because we've seen Liverpool this season come back a lot from when they've gone down, and that's the mentality change around Liverpool from when Klopp first came. You know, you think back to those days and they seem a long time ago, and dark days now, but then, you know, the opposition would score and you would literally see heads go down on the pitch, and it was the same in the stands. Now, there isn't that huge fume when we concede a goal to another side. Everyone just goes, we'll be all right. We'll be all right. We trust these lads. And so there's that aspect to it as well, isn't there? Like, if Spurs do concede, they'll know in their heads that they've got a shit record at Anfield. They'll know in their heads that they've lost those 4 away in recent weeks. They'll know as well that they've lost 9 in the league, that they're 15 behind Liverpool, that they've been this huge drop-off. All of that can't fail to play a part, can it?
100%, and ideally that's what we want. And we want a nice early goal and maybe 2, so that we don't have to put a load of intensity into this game, because the more games that we can win easily and save that intensity for games that are going to come up, because there are going to be some intense ones. Now, this has got all the hallmarks of a game that could have that intensity. And the thing is, if they score early, and even if it's 1-0 at half-time, if it was 1-0 at 70 minutes, I'd still feel confident. I just feel like as you said before, we're relentless when we want to be, when we need to be. We can move the ball, we switch the ball across the pitch so beautifully, and it's done with such endeavour that it means other teams are just shattered, constantly chasing across. If they're 1-0 up and they've got 20 minutes to go, they'll be like, it's like the Alamo, this. But by the same token, even if it's 0-0, I think in the back of their heads they'll be thinking eventually one of these has got to come along for them. Then it's not going to be an easy game, but there's just loads of ways you look at it and think, that's how we'll win it. Yeah. So it could be an early goal and we carry it on. They score, we blitz them. Or if it's 0-0, we just carry on methodically, and then get one, then maybe get another one later on. There's loads of ways you can see Liverpool winning, and I'd say there's not loads of ways you can see us losing, really.
Well, only Manchester City have won more points this season than Liverpool in Big 6 games. They've won 19, Liverpool have won 13, but Liverpool have obviously got a couple to come in, Spurs and Chelsea. Spurs, meanwhile, have only won 7 in these games, and the only one shitter at winning in Big 6 games is Manchester United. Anyway, here's Neil Atkinson now. He's going to have a look at what Liverpool might do, what Spurs might do, how it all might go. It's in with the Tactics Pod.
Tottenham are full of doubts, and I mean that in every single sense, really. 1 point from the last 12 will lead a team to doubt itself. This is how they have been setting up. A little bit of this diamond thing in centre midfield with 2 up top, Kane and either Son or Moura in recent weeks. I think Moura started at Southampton, but obviously Son is the superior player, you'd have said. Behind, Dele Alli, Eriksen, Dyer, Sissoko. That's what they've been doing. Back 4's always a little bit unsure as to whether or not it's going to be Sanchez, whether he's going to get dropped in or not. Full-backs could be Aurier, could be Trippier, could even be Walker-Peters. It was Walker-Peters at Southampton. Rose or Davis over here. Coming to play Liverpool, I wonder if they'll persevere with this shape if it hasn't been working for them. 1 point in 12 makes you wonder if Pochettino might do something a bit different. He's always got three at the back in his locker, although he dropped that on them a couple of seasons past and we battered them really. It was only 2-0, but the scoreline flattered them certainly by half-time. So you do wonder what the thought process will be. He's been trying to shoehorn all 4 of Son or Moura, Kane, Eriksen and Ali all into the same side, and it's not really been getting the results he might have hoped for. I'm not quite sure. Dyer went off injured for England, so he might not start. Wanyama may well start. Aurier's a doubt, so I'd expect Trippier to start. I think it will be a back 4. It will be Alderweireld, whose name I always mispronounce, and Vertonghen here. Danny Rose, I suspect, will get the position at left back. As I say, I'd expect Wanyama. If Wanyama's not fit, maybe it might be Harry Winks. I'd expect Sissoko, and then I think he does have to find a way to get all that 4 on the pitch, not least because he's also practicing for the European games that are to come as well. So I do think it will be this shape, maybe one last time for Tottenham, or maybe with an idea that it may pull Eriksen wider and look to do something around that sort of way. It's going to be interesting to see the team selection. I don't think Liverpool are going to know exactly what to expect. I think they'll know themselves what they intend to do. But I think it may well be them looking at the team sheet and going, OK, this is what we expect. Unless, of course, he does go to 3 centre-backs. But everyone else seems to have come back from international duty fit. So Kane will obviously start. And then it may well be either 3 from 4 or the core 4. And then we're looking at, as I say, Wanyama and Sissoko.
Nice one to Neil there. So as I was saying earlier on in the show, we have got a good record against Spurs. The last 5 at Anfield, a 2-2 draw in February 2018, a 2-0 win in February 2017, a 2-1 win in October 2016, a 1-1 draw in April 2016, and a 3-2 win in February 2015. So pretty good in recent years against them. We all, I think it's fair to say, based on what we were saying in the first half of the show, are confident that Liverpool can keep up this run. I just wanted to get you a little bit on Spurs and what they are and where they are. You know, you mentioned earlier shiny new stadium and stuff like that. There's a little boost as well, you would think, in that the manager's obviously staying now when United were so heavily linked with them. They're desperate to sort of walk the walk of being the big club. They've now got a ground that's bigger than ours. They've now got a single-tier stand that's bigger than the car. All of those type of things. And yet, you know, the League Cup in 2008 is their last silverware, and they've only won 2 titles in their history, and the last one was 1961. So as much as they rock round, you know, doing all that they need to get up there. And I always think that this is important. So it's not just important because we're trying to win the league, but I always think it's important when we play Spurs to sort of put them back in their place a little bit.
I think
show them who's boss.
Arsenal do the same things, and they used to call it St. Tottenham's Day. So the day that they couldn't finish above them and all that. And I listen, this could bite us on the arse here, so you don't want to, this could be fucking cut, and you say, well, you hope it's going to be shit and you end up battering you. But them results you're talking about there, the last 8 years, I think we only finished above them twice in that time. And yet still, we seem to have a great record against them. So what I'd say is it does seem like they have still got the perennial. It's like, that's that feeling people always say when I'm in my job and I'm just wondering when someone's going to say, fucking hell, he hasn't got a clue what he's doing there. So I don't think they've got that feeling as a football club. They're like, yeah, we are second in the league. Honestly, can you just explain your role to me? Well, actually, no, shit. But I feel like that's what they'd say. They finished second.
It's going to be a big fucking shepherd's crooks just going to pull me off one of these shows one day.
And that could very much happen to them. If they finish 5th this year, 5th in a 3-horse race, like we finished 4th in a 2-horse race that time, and they've got this big shiny new stadium. The big shiny new stadium is fantastic and it's going to generate a lot of money for them. But they didn't buy any players last year, didn't buy anyone in January either, did they?
They've got to pay for it.
Exactly, so if they don't buy anyone this summer...
It's cost £1 billion.
Cost a lot of money.
£1 billion quid, loads of money, and listen, you've got to sell a lot of cheese for that, haven't you? So,
That is a lot of cheese.
It's a lot of cheese.
How much dairy leaves that?
I'm not sure it sounds very late.
Let us know in the comments how much dairy you get for £1 billion. But yeah, the Reds, I mean, the two teams, we'll do a bit on the teams as well. Their only real injury concern seems to be Eric Dyer having a look round. Obviously, there'll be the press conferences to come later in the week and all that sort of stuff. Same for Liverpool as well. We'll be covering that on the Team Talk show if you subscribe to Tour Player. But what we know about Liverpool is that pretty much everyone's close to fitness now. There's a bit of a question around Shaqiri with his pubic injury, and there's some kind of knock for Trent as well. But you know, Klopp didn't seem particularly concerned about either of them. And then you've got Gomez back in training, Oxlade-Chamberlain back in training as well. Based on what you saw at Fulham and based maybe on little bits you've seen internationally through the week, what do you want to see team-wise from Klopp at the weekend?
I don't think you're going to see too many surprises, to be honest. I think you're going to see... I think Trent's going to play. I think it was a bit of a diddle. He's carrying a knock, sound. He's got a bit of a knock. He's got a bit of a bad back, but they've sat him in a pool for some photos and that. He's fucking not wrong with him. He's just sitting, couldn't be arsed, going to play for the year. I've 2 weeks off, lads. You've had a big workload. You're playing Sunday. I think it's going to be... I think Milner's going to play on the basis that he's been on holiday and had a lovely time and running around Dubai, and you know, he's had a week off. I think the big thing for Liverpool, and I think the thing for this international break is that Salah got to just do nothing for a week, 8 days, 9 days, whatever it was. He's been on holiday. We've all seen the photos. You know, as soon as I seen he weren't playing for Egypt, I was just ecstatic. I was like, this is amazing, because he's played a lot of games for Liverpool this year. He was injured over the, you know, he rushed back to get fit for the World Cup. He didn't have a long time off, and he's had a bit of, he hasn't been poor. He's been pretty good. No, it's just been in his own head a little bit. And as soon as I seen he was going on holiday, I was just thinking, this is magic. You know, a week away from footy, forget about all that. Remember who you are. And I just think it's set up perfectly for him to just come back and start banging again.
Scored a great goal against them last season as well.
Yeah, he did. It was a cracking goal, and you just, I think the thing is in these types of games, it's hard for, you know, you said about Tottenham points in the big 6 games, but when you're as good as you are in this league, so when you're Tottenham or Man City or Liverpool, you don't really come up against teams who are going to do what Liverpool are going to do to you very often. And so you're not really that used to it. And, you know, there's interesting stuff knocking about Salah's been tackled more times and he's been getting closed down in certain positions. But if you're Tottenham, you know, you can try and build a strategy to cope with him. But you're not defending for your lives every week. Do you know what I mean? You're not flooding your box and blocking space. So it's not something that's inanely practiced into your brain to do it all the while. And plus, when they get the ball, they're going to try and play. And I just think that might just play into our hands a little bit. And I just hoping beyond hope that Mo just comes back. He's had, you know, loads of coconut water and all that, sitting on the beach with his hat on the shades. He's just chilled the fuck right back out. And he's just remembered, look, I'm Mo Salah. Scored 1 million goals last year. I'm probably just going to score 30 in these last 10 games and win us everything. And I mean, I'll sign up for that now.
Well, if you offer me,
I am off for a bit, Kev.
Well, I'll take it then with you.
Thanks. I'll see you then, mate.
I mean, it's 7 without a goal in it for Mo, and so any concerns for you, or are you the same as Jono and that, you know, he's been playing all right, hasn't he?
He's been brilliant. I thought was it Watford at home or Burnley at home, where he played on the right-hand side and Manny went up front and he was absolutely outstanding. Watford, he was amazing. Do you know, he absolutely ran them ragged. Him and Trent looked like you thought, well, leave them there for the next 10 years, you wouldn't worry about it. Listen, he can come back in, as you said, he'll be all refreshed. He hasn't had a break, basically, since, probably 2 years, so this is probably one of his longer breaks in there. And I think, yeah, he'll come back nice and relaxed and he can focus on saying, right, my jumping off point for the end of the season is from now. In these 12 games, I'm going to score 10 goals. And I think if we are to win the league, and listen, if we to win the League and European Cup double, we probably need one of our front men, maybe 2 of them, to score 10 goals each. And I think Mo will be looking at going, well, listen, I might have been a bit off the pace, but this is my time now where I come back in and shine. And listen, against these, there will be spaces, because as you say, they do play football. They're not going to sit in 2 banks of 5. They'll be having a go with us, which means the pitch opens up. Once the pitch opens up for him, there's nothing he can't do.
And Sadio Mane as well, we've got to mention him before we go, because, you know, no one scored more Premier League goals in 2019 than Sadio. 9, level with Aguero, but it's 9 in the Premier League for Mane now. He carried on as well through the week, internationally as well, just decided to get involved there as well. He's a man absolutely on top of his game, isn't he? Yeah,
and he looks so, he looks delighted even when he's not playing well. So imagine what he's like now at the moment. He's another one. I think the three strikers will all be looking, going, we're going to need a hero for the 10 goals, 10 games. And I think they'll all be believing that they can do it. Just like Mo, Mane's on fire at the moment. And going into this last part of the season, I can't help but feel he's also set himself up, because before Christmas, it's easy to forget, he wasn't necessarily everyone's favourite player at that time. He's really come into his own. And I feel like he's one of them players who knows sometimes you've got to just save your legs, because the season is a marathon and not a sprint. So I can see him, again, like Salah. And if you get the 2 of them on fire, I think the league is ours. The 2 of them looking and going, yeah, this is our time to shine now. Let's make ourselves world superstars by winning a League and European Cup double.
There's the thing about being spoilt a little bit as well, isn't there, John, as well? Because, you know, we're going to have 2 players here, you know, both on 20+ goals by the end of the season. And I can remember a time where, you know, you'd be in the pub after games going, wish we had a lad who could knock 20 in. Do you know what I mean? We've got 2 now.
It's mad. And you look at Mane's ability, he can do everything. And I think you could criticise him historically as that he was a little bit erratic.
A little bit streaky at Southampton, wasn't he?
And also in some of his, you know, his early time at Liverpool, he was either hot or not as effective. And I remember having conversations, we mentioned it before on Talking Reds, I remember having conversations where you're thinking, well, if we get one more banger, you know, one more absolute fucking superstar who comes in, then maybe in that front 3, maybe it's Mane who's the one who might be unfortunate and might miss out now and again. And now you're looking at it, you're thinking, well, hang on. You know, he's as good as anyone in that front 3 on current form. He's better than anyone in the league on current form. And it's not just that though. It's his bollocks, mate. He likes a scrap.
Yeah.
And you need that. And he likes putting his foot in there. He doesn't like getting beat And you need that to go on and win things. It's interesting for me, you look at Mane over the course of the last couple of years, he's been picked by Salah to all the major awards, to the African Player of the Year. He was second, Mo was first. Same again this time, he was second, Mo was first. There's no harm in there being some little competition there where he's like, hang on, I am the fucking main man here. I can win this African Player of the Year. I can be one of the best players in Europe. There's no harm in Mo supplying for him. There's no harm in the roles reversing a little bit because Mo's under pressure. He's got more men around him. You know, you look at what he did. You look at what Mo did against Bayern. The ball for Mane's second is incredible, and it's a great head, it's a great finish, great movement, but he puts it on a play for him. Yeah. And if you can get them players playing with that will to be the best in the team, but also selflessly as they are, then it's hard to stop. It's hard to stop.
It's Mother's Day on Sunday, so go and see your man in the morning, box her off, give her a big kiss, give her a big hug, and then come to Anfield, come and adore them, get behind the Reds. It's going to be boss. We're going to have a great time. We're going to win. We're going to win the fucking league. Up the fucking Reds. We're going to end now with Ben Jono answering questions and that. It's called Inside TAW. Up the Reds.
Everton, Mane last minute. Better than anything you'll ever see in your life. Michael Owen's second FA Cup against Arsenal. I was right behind it, seen it all the way. As soon as he left his foot, you knew it was in. Well, one of the best you'll ever see. The all grey one where we beat United 4-1. I can't remember, so I'll make one up. QPR. And I was 6. I was around that time. It might have been QPR, I don't know. I mean, Pickford's Divock's goal was probably my best goal, aside from the Michael Owen one, and probably the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. I still laugh now when I see it. Lovren. As many as possible. In various places. Excelsior's alright. The church by the ground's alright. Balotelli went up to fucking much, but he was like mad. Ricky Lambert, by the time he got to Liverpool, Jesus Christ, God bless his soul. He tried his best, but he was fucking crap.